right, howdy, folks. It's VileMike here. We got Dandelion and we got Elihu.
Hello.
Okay, I know Elihu has watched them, at least episodes 3 and 4 of Starfleet Academy. Dandelion, you haven't watched any of it, right?
I have not.
All right, so
Sorry. That's why I wasn't going to stay for too long, because I haven't been watching anything. I've just been too busy.
Well, I'm gonna bring up the fact that episode 3 was basically Animal House, the Star Trek episode.
Hijinks and pranks.
Jack, you are on the CNA PSP chat on Twitter, right? The link for it should be here if you want to come on up.
The anti-tracker. Well, he's not anti-tracker, but still, that's Michael Crawford. Jack Starfleet Academy.
Well, Jack and I have been talking on Twitter about it yesterday. I needed something to distract me from the stuff mentioned in the previous stream. So if he has the link, or he should have access to the link if he wants to come on up. So let's waste some time until then.
Waste some time. Oh. Have you been seeing those videos, those fake videos by CDATs?
I've been avoiding them. I don't like the idea of using other IPs that I'm not in charge of.
There have been some really shitty ones, but there's been some really good ones. One kind of actually fooled me. I'm like, okay, this does not look like it's AI generated. This looks like it's an actual real movie clip. It was a fake Avengers Doomsday trailer thing. Like, okay, this one actually looks real, not AI fake generated. It looks like a real studio did this one. These are getting out of hand.
Well, while we wait for him, I'm going to say something that was kind of fun that I saw this morning. My younger kid's mom and her boyfriend went to the Psycho Stick concert here in San Diego last night. And one of the cool things was they got 2 members of the band to actually record birthday messages for our son.
Nice. Turtle Jay's birthday. I thought it was Mrs. Miles' birthday.
Her birthday was yesterday. Turtle Jay's birthday is today.
Oh, okay. A little confused, man.
I will do the obligatory loaf show. There we go. Fresh out of the oven.
Ooh, bread. Everything bagel.
If I ever come to visit, you're making me a bread bowl.
Oh, you say that every time.
I know.
Make sure you put Manhattan chowder in it for him.
Hey, how you doing, Jack?
I'm terrible at making soup, just so you know. I can make bread. I cannot make soup.
I can make a stew.
That works. Stew and bread bowl would be great.
I don't like soup.
I don't like soup that much either. That's why I'm not good at making it, because I'm like, ugh.
You know, it's funny eating with a spoon. We can just drink out of a cup.
I will also show off these real quick. We got VileMike stickers.
Ooh.
There's the Yitzy ones, the Conservatorium one, and GameSwap logo.
Cool.
You know, you should put the GameSwap logo in every single purchase that you sell.
That's one of my plans.
Okay. I guess we should let Jack say something.
No. He hates Star Trek. No.
I said hey.
Oh, I have plenty to say, but I'm just
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead and speak. I'm loading a bowl. Go ahead and speak.
So, I tried to watch the first episode last night, and it gave me GERD, like gastrointestinal. It gave me that.
Okay, but what specifically was the issue? Like,
it's the rating. It's the rating. Mainly, I believe that the people who write the show don't have the life experience to be writing proper sci-fi. their life experience seems to be relegated to Hollywood circles and stuff like that. Meanwhile, the people who wrote the original shows, they were World War II veterans and they had lived lives before they were writers and whatnot. And you can just tell because it's gotten from TOS. They have for TOS and TNG, they have Bibles or writing guides that Gene Roddenberry wrote. And I've been comparing it with a lot of the stuff that's been going on with not just Starfleet Academy, but New Trek as a whole. And you could just see the slow progression from bending the rules here and there because of precedents or whatever. Like, they changed the Klingon design before, so we'll change them again. Nobody liked that design. They reverted back, which is nice, but now they're making
the disco, the Kling orcs, as they were called. Yeah, no one liked that makeup job. Even I will admit that was a bad decision on their part.
And rare compliment. I'm glad that they actually fixed that. But now they've gone the other way, and they've started feminizing. At least this specific Klingon, they've completely feminized, and it's
okay. Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. I want to ask one question. Why is that a bad thing?
Because they're showing only one type of gay person, and everyone who's gay in that show, it's like it's one type of gay. There's more type of gays than that.
I'm sorry.
Okay, how does Melania show her? How does somebody show gay?
Now, hold on. I want to reiterate. I've only seen up to episode 4. I specifically stopped on episode 4 because, I want to focus on, we did 1 and 2 last week. We're doing 3 and 4 this week. But from what I've seen, one of the episodes that we watched was an episode focused entirely on him.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't necessarily see what you're talking about in that episode.
Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, so it's just like I'll give you the example of I feel like the Orville did better gay representation of gay Klingons per se than Starfleet Academy is. The Mocklins are a completely gay society. They're supposed to be more
but
male.
they're also rigidly conservative.
Yeah. I mean, in some cases, yeah, but not in the case of that, that aspect. And I mean, when you see Bortus and Clyden act like a normal couple, it feels much more natural than what I'm seeing, what I've seen so far of I did see the scene where, Jaden and I think was it Khalib, they give each other that really gay they're staring at each other for a while.
Well, to me, okay.
It's forced. It feels forced. Extremely
one of
forced.
the things I mentioned earlier, and I don't know if you were here for it, when I said that basically the 3rd episode was your straight up Animal House or Revenge of the Nerds type prank war in a college scenario.
Right.
I'm not necessarily saying that was a bad thing.
No,
but
you can play pranks, yeah. There's nothing wrong with that.
And I don't have a problem with the, if this if it's taking place at a school, I don't mind school time antics or school time revelations when it comes to how people actually are. That glance you're talking about, that is very high school, that is very college.
Okay. Maybe it's because I'm 42 and don't really care about who people date or something like that. I know that in TNG when they showed Wesley doing his academy stuff, they focused on the actual exercises and the training and not about the interpersonal stuff. He made a friend. I think that's about it. He makes a friend, one of those those blue skin people.
Mordon, I believe his name was
Mordon. Yeah. So that's really that feels a lot more just natural about than
but again, that wasn't
the 90210ing it, you know.
That was a episode that happened to take place at Starfleet Academy or about Starfleet Academy, but it wasn't focused on the students per se. It was focused on the Enterprise crew dealing with what happened with concerning the students. You didn't see them go to class. You didn't see them in the halls. You know what I mean? I mean, it was great when Cito Jaxa returns, but you know, it's a whole different type of story, and to me, I don't have issues with that. The same reason, like I haven't seen it yet, but have you seen the Starfleet or Star Trek Cadets at all?
Oh, that's that new Nickelodeon one that they're going to be putting out.
Yeah, I've only seen I've seen aspects of it on YouTube.
Yeah, I haven't seen that. I haven't seen Prodigy. Those those shows I know were specifically for kids and stuff like that. I also don't have Paramount Plus because
neither do I, but I still watch it.
If you have the ability to watch Prodigy, I would definitely recommend it. It was shockingly good, and it was one that me and my son enjoyed.
Okay.
And but similar to Lower Decks, me and Katty bonded more over watching Lower Decks together than we did watching TOS.
Right.
And again, that was because at the time she was a teenager. That's the type of stuff that she enjoys. That was the humor she enjoyed. I loved explaining all the little references that they would give. I mean, she like when the character Peanut Hamper first showed up, the Exocom.
Okay.
She thought that was a great character, even though, especially the whole arc that character had throughout the episode. And I had fun explaining to her where the exocoms came from.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's not the experience I get when I watch that. First of all, my kids are, I mean, they're grown, but they've never been into Star Trek. I tried to get them into Star Trek before, but they just couldn't get into it. So I don't have. I thought
you didn't. I didn't know you had kids.
I have 3 kids. My oldest one is 22.
Oh, and my oldest just turned 22.
Yes. So, but yeah, I try to get them into it, and they're just into other stuff.
Yeah. My middle daughters are the same way. They don't like Star Trek at all. I mean, trying to get her Vile Style to do the last review was like pulling teeth. But Katty's like, she didn't really like Star Trek per se. She liked Spock, and she liked Spock for a very specific reason.
I don't know if you know the story, right? Like Dax.
I was really trying to get into like the characters, and when I watched it last night, I was trying to remember all the names and stuff like that. It's the only one I can almost relate to would be Khalid, mainly because they just showed that scene of him as a kid. But once
is that the main character?
Caleb? You mean Caleb?
That's the main. Yeah, that's the main. That's his name, right? The main character.
Caleb.
Yeah. So the scene where he's separated from his mother and stuff like that. That was the only thing I was like kind of into a little bit, and I think it was mainly because of Paul Giamatti. He's always been an excellent actor, and I can tell he's trying to elevate the writing that's been given to him. That's what good actors do. They try to elevate it no matter how bad it is. And but yeah, I think that's the only part that I was kind of into. And then everything else after that, like when he's a criminal and they I'll be honest, when you first see him sitting there with the mouth stuff and he's all locked up and you see his huge muscles and stuff like that. The first thing I thought that was a female who had been roided out when you first see that character.
I will say though, that first episode, to talk about that, even though I was supposed to be talking about 3 or 4. No worries, you weren't here last time. I just tried to make it, so I'm giving it a pass. was the Holly Hunter reasonings for leaving Starfleet because of that. To me,
Right,
that
and it
was
was-
very Next Generation writing, to be honest.
Really?
Especially in
Okay.
light of Star Trek Picard.
Okay, well, I don't really count Picard as a TNG thing, but
Yeah, he gave up because
I-
he was upset with Federation policies. That's why she gave up, because she was upset with the Federation
okay,
policies.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
See, she felt guilty about that incident, and then like 15 years pass, and I guess so when Vance comes back to recruit her again, it's that one incident that and I feel like she had done that before, that those types of summary judgments and stuff. I'm pretty sure she's done that before to other people, so I'm not exactly sure why this specific case really got to her. Maybe it's because she separated the child and the mother, and I know she
It's also
herself
been
had
like
a
the
child.
straw that broke the camel's back.
Right, it could be that, but yeah. So it was like 15 years have passed, and she's at like a daycare center of some sort. And when she meets Vance, and by the way, like for some reason, seeing Vance again did make me smile a little, even though I really don't like that character. He's the character from Discovery who was like,
Yeah,
we eat our own shit, you know?
To me, he's the Starfleet daddy of the 32nd century.
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Hey,
gonna keep muting myself because we got one of the advertising cars coming by.
I thought it was the Mexican birds.
But yeah, I mean the overall writing though, it doesn't feel like, if I watch an episode of TOS or TNG and then I watch an episode of this, I mean the differences are undeniable. Like it's self-evident just how much it's the writing has changed. I don't want to say it evolved because it feels like a de-evolution.
Well, here's the.
Well, hang on. Let me say something, Mike. Let me say something.
Okay, go ahead.
In TNG, when the first episode aired, we got Star Trek Starfleet. We got Starfleet itself. Now this show right here, episode 1, is we get to explore the cadets itself, not Starfleet. It's all about the cadets. That's why we get the little backstory and the inclinations of the individual cadets. It's not all Starfleet. It's focusing on cadets. That's what we got.
Right.
That's what we got all that in episode 1. You gotta remember that.
Right.
It's an introduction
Right.
to brand new people. Discovery,
Right.
we didn't get that. All we had was Federation. Now we get introduction of characters.
That is true too. So Discovery, one of the main complaints about the first season of Discovery was they focused so much on Michael Burnham and Tilly and what
Yeah,
I didn't know who
exactly.
the other and so that I noticed that they did fix right away. Like as soon as she got to the bridge, she said everybody's name and you saw their faces. The one character that I'm interested in, and they did this last time, so I have a feeling they might do it again. The one that kind of interests me is the lady with the face, the strange scaly face.
Do you have Jem'Hadar, half Klingon?
No, not her. There's one on the bridge. She has like this red scaly face. I don't remember her name right now, but she seems like the only one that out like visually I
Scaly face. I don't recall her.
Yeah, I'm having trouble remembering.
Yeah, red scaly face person.
Yeah, maybe like the little scaly spikes or something. We'd have to go back to watch it or something, but so like it reminded me of Ariam because Ariam was a very interesting looking character in Discovery. They give her one scene with I think Tilly where you find out a little bit about her backstory, and by the end of that episode they kill her off. That was like the 5th episode, I think. But I have a feeling they might do that with that character eventually too, since it's the only visually interesting looking one there.
Sorry, I'm trying to figure out who you're talking about.
Yeah.
But go ahead. I literally typed in red-faced alien on Starfleet Academy, and the only thing that's showing up is the Jem'Hadar lady.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking.
I'm gonna look up the Athena crew right now if I can find it. Senior staff.
Let's see. Hang on. I got it right here. Athena crew. Come on, load, you little fucker. I hate that dot. Here we go. Let's see. To do Genesis, Lethan, acting captain, Remy.
Now, to go back a
Aiden.
little bit, when you were talking about the complaints about how it feels different, to me,
Yeah,
that is true since Discovery started. Because remember, TOS, TNG, Deep Space Nine, to a limited extent, Voyager, and Enterprise, they were all episodic in nature. They were made for syndication primarily. That way you could jump into an episode and not have to worry about what happened in the last 5 episodes. Whereas modern writing is all about that streaming. It's watching one episode after another. It is very difficult to go in and just watch one episode, except for I would say Lower Decks. Lower Decks is probably the only one that's able to do it because of the way they did things. The way it was written.
Yeah.
They're like even back then. You take Riker, what was it, 2nd season or 3rd season when he got offered his first command, right?
Oh, that was the 1st season.
That was the 1st season? Fuck, I thought it was at least the 2nd or 3rd. He gets offered a command very early on.
Worlds, he had declined, like, I think twice. And then by the end, by the first part of end of both Best of Both Worlds, he declined another command. That's when Picard was like, "What are you still doing here?" But then he gets taken over by the Borg. So Riker does take command of the Enterprise.
But it's the thing is, outside of Denise Crosby's death, Tasha Yar's death, the cast of Next Generation does not change because it's designed to be that way. Everything has to return to the status quo. It was one of the issues we had with Voyager. Everything returns to the status quo after every fucking episode when it logically should not, because of the damage to the fucking ship. And that's one of the good things about the game that came out. I am enjoying the game. I didn't buy it. I only got the demo.
Oh, the new Voyager game?
I've seen it's so much better than the series because you're repairing the ship through the course of the entire game.
Yeah. PC says Patrick Atali is red. Let's see, images.
Gap is saying, are you talking about the one with the long hair? She's got some kind of stuff around her face.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah, she also sounds weird too. They gave her like a voice modulation, if I remember correctly.
They gave Jaden a voice
modulation. Are you sure she shows up in the
Steve.
first 4 episodes? Because I'm having trouble remembering that person.
It's the very first episode where I have to. I'm looking for a crew manifest, and I'm not finding it.
I got a crew manifest. I don't see anybody with red skin on here.
Hold on, man. Okay, so I'm looking. I'm trying to find it, but I can't find it right now. We'll have to put a pin on it.
No worries. So yeah, going back to episode 3, issues, not really issues that I had. One of the things I was thinking about was if they're genetically modifying those plants to become larger and grow faster, and destroying them is still outlawed because they're, going extinct, why is killing off a strain that has been genetically modified gonna be a problem? Does that make sense?
It was for plot.
Well, it's like elephants are going extinct, right? If we suddenly create an elephant that's twice as big, does that mean that we can't, kill it if it's ruining the environment?
Natural environment, yeah, but it wasn't ruining the natural environment. It was ruining the habitat. There's nothing endangered.
I mean, that part just didn't make sense.
There's nothing. That plant was not hurting any inhabitant. It was just occupying their sleeping quarters. It was not endangering anything else.
But the students still genetically modified it to grow faster and to become larger. Right?
Yeah. That was Jaden's idea.
Yeah, and as funny as I think that, as funny and clever as I think that was, the reasoning for them not being able to destroy it, that I didn't understand. I will say that was probably a little bit of bad writing on their part.
Yeah, you and Farrick have the same idea.
But, the idea of the two schools fighting, I didn't have a problem with. That's very juvenile, but it fits the series.
Yeah, the whole basically was what it actually means to be a Starfleet officer. How do you interact with people? How do you overcome things? That's what Holly Hunter was doing. Little hints and everything. Little hints and little tricks. Like hinting here, hinting there, hinting there. She's not telling them directly. She's like, you need to figure this out. Here's a little clue for you.
Right.
I love her character arc. She's not basically saying, hey, you need to do this and this and this. No. She's giving little clues to do this. And you have to figure it out. It's like, okay, this is what a Starfleet officer does. They figure things out. They're not handed shit.
Hold on. You guys talk. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. One thing about Holly Hunter's character, her name was what was the name? Nala, is what her name is.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you notice that she mumbles through her lines? That's something I noted. Like I had to turn on the captions for her because she tends to mumble.
I need to rewatch this. Whenever she seems to mumble, she is basically expressing her own opinion and questioning everything. If you notice her episodes when she's talking basically regular, but when she's going to talk really, she's questioning it. When you hear her mumble, her character is questioning the situation.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels like as an actor, enunciation is very important.
Yeah, but it's part of the character, though.
What up?
Hello,
Hey,
Positive.
I'm trying to post the link so Positive can join us.
Yeah,
He just did.
The lady is Astrid Atley.
Can you turn up the volume, please?
Sure, hold on. Yeah, her name is Astrid Atley.
Astrid Atley. Oh, this is the character I was talking about.
Yes, your character that you're talking about. You go to the Memory Alpha.
I'm literally trying to right now, but again, my laptop internet just keeps going in and out.
Yeah, this is her.
I posted it in the private chat, but paste, and you can always bring it up. But that's her right there. I just posted it in the private chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the only character that I was kind of interested in, and more of a visual thing, because I like the makeup. But yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Ironically, she's only been in 2 episodes. The first episode, Kids These Days, and episode 4, Vox Excelsior.
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Okay. Played by Nicole Dickinson. And that's all they have on her Memory Alpha right now, since she's only been in a little bit.
All right, I'm gonna head out. It looks like Positive wants to come up anyway. Oh, he's here. Okay, I thought there was enough room for one. Awesome.
I had to bow out so I can copy the link again because it wasn't letting me copy it.
Oh, geez. All right. Okay. Anyway, I'm still gonna head out. I have like a gazillion things to get done today. So enjoy your
Yeah. One of the things I got to finish. I did not get the next review done by the end of February. So one of the things I'm going to try to get done today is getting that finished. But today's going to be a rough day. I'm kind of glad Chris is not going to be doing his stream tonight because right now I've got a flat tire on the car.
Oh,
I still need to get back to the U.S. and I'm supposed to meet up with Katty about trying to go job hunting with her.
All right. Sounds busy.
Yeah.
Remember, nobody can prove you were a regional manager at Toys R Us or Radio Shack. And then line, remember on the 3rd, 3/3 at 3:33 a.m. the eclipse peaks.
Oh man, 3:33 a.m. What the
It
fuck?
starts around 11:30, but it peaks at 3:33
I'm not
on the
gonna
3rd. Yeah,
That's-
3/3 at 3:33.
Okay, so that means when I wake up at 5, I'll catch the tail end of it. Sounds good. There's no way I'm getting up at 3:30 to like. There's just who knows? Maybe I'll be awake. I often wake up in the night. If I think of it, I might creep outside and take a little boo at the old. I love lunar eclipses. They're like my absolute favorite. They're super cool. And now, is that on like Tuesday morning or Wednesday morning?
Tuesday morning, 3rd.
So between Tuesday and Wednesday on like Tuesday
on the
night.
3rd at 3:33 a.m. is when it peaks.
Perfect. Okay.
And hopefully we'll have clear
I'll
skies.
see how my insomnia is that night.
Oh, and I will say something about episode 3. There is a quote from that episode that I definitely want on a t-shirt. I can promise you, they shenaned once, they'll shenan again.
Oh, that one.
Come on, that's funny, Jack. You got to admit that.
Yeah, I mean it's modern. It's very modern. That's all I'm going to say about it. It's funny, but it's very modern.
Oh, I could definitely. You say modern, but I could definitely see McCoy saying that too.
I don't know.
I could see him saying it to Spock to provoke a reaction.
It seems like that type of vernacular was long gone by then, though. I mean, if you remember which one was it? The one with the movie with the whales where Kirk had no idea how to curse. Yeah, that
colorful
was
metaphors. The colorful metaphors, dude.
Yeah, he had no idea how to. He was very awkward, and when he was trying to curse people out with the double dumbass stuff. Like the idea is like that type of
improv
speaking had gone out of style long ago, and then,
I would agree with you, except for, have you ever heard the term gutter snipe before?
Gutter, what is it?
Gutter snipe.
Gutter snipe. I don't know what that is.
Basically, it's another word for whore or prostitute.
Okay.
And it was something people called as an insult back in the 1920s and 1910s.
Okay.
Except in it, I think it was an episode of either Shameless or Always Sunny in Philadelphia where they happened to use that word. And then because my kids love those shows, they started calling each other that all the fucking time.
Right, but it wasn't a zeitgeist though, where like everybody was picking up on that again. No, but I know what you mean. Like I think the modern, like some of the modern vernacular that's used nowadays, not necessarily in Trek, but when they, when people say they got the ick or something like that, where it means something grosses them out or it gives them the ick.
Yeah,
have you heard of that? Yeah. So
I just did just now. I'm like, what?
So I've seen that around like Twitter and Facebook, people speaking like that, where it was like, oh, this person totally gives me the ick, or this food gives me the ick, stuff like that.
Never heard.
But I feel So one of the things that I know that Gene talks about in his writing guides is the avoidance of that type of avoidance of that, the type of vernacular that would make people, that would date it, that would make people be like, oh, this is obviously from the 2010s, 2020s, because that's how people were speaking back then. Whereas I feel like the shows before, before Kurtzman, they realized that if you talk like that, people are going to know. So the idea is to speak, without any of that slang and just speak regular, normal, modern English. So that's another thing is like, I think the modern vernacular just pulls you out of it. Makes you.
I don't feel that way because when I'm watching it, I don't really realize when they say shit or asshole. It's just normal conversation to me. That's it. It's like, okay, I really don't freak out when they say asshole or shit. Like, well, no, they swore on Star Trek. It's regular vernacular to me. I'm used to that.
So,
Jack is making a good point, but, and I'm sorry for interrupting you, but Gene Roddenberry's strict adherence to stuff like that made the characters feel less human, which defeats the purpose of having a character trying to explore their humanity. And that, I mean, the whole purpose of Spock originally was to hold up a mirror to humanity. But if you're having the characters not talk like humans by not using common vernacular,
well, they do speak like humans. It's just not, remember, they're not, it's like as if somebody went out and started speaking like a Valley girl. Like totally, you can totally tell that type of, what type of, it just pulls me out of the whole thing, especially when it's supposed to be sometime in the distant future, and I'm hearing things that I hear when I go outside, or if I go online, I hear the same type of speech and vernacular. I don't feel like I'm in space at that point. I feel like I'm on a set.
I don't know, because to me that just seems like they're more human, and they're more easily related to. I mean, you can relate to aspects of characters from TOS, TNG, and stuff. I mean, more so in Deep Space Nine, I think, because I think that show is a lot more human than other Trek shows. But you can't really relate fully to a character,
right?
You know what I mean?
You can't relate fully to a character in these new shows, because
you can when it comes to the experience, though. Like you said about that look that Jaden gave what's his face. Yeah. That is something that happens quite often, as I pointed out. Like when I was in college, I had seen that exact look given from one student to another.
Yeah, men and women do that to each other. Why can't a man and man do that to each other? Who cares if somebody's gay or not?
I've also seen
so the idea is not that they're gay. Let's make that straight. Like
oh yeah, I don't care that they're gay. That's not an issue.
It's not that. It's just it feels modern. It just feels like I might as well be watching Melrose Place or something like that, or Models Inc. or Beverly Hills 90210. I mean, so I'm one of those guys where it's like, okay, if I want to watch something with like violence and cursing, I'll go watch like Quentin Tarantino, or I'll go watch a Western or something where where it's expected, right? So that's kind of how I work it. I don't mind cursing in my television, but I do mind cursing in my Star Trek because they didn't normally do that. I don't mind them having characters that I can't necessarily relate to because they're gay or they're this and that. But at the same time, I used to be able to be like, oh, this was my favorite character. No, actually, this is my favorite character. Worf is my favorite character. No, it's got to be Data. Oh, it's Picard. It's this. That's kind of how I see it. And then,
well, do you think that also? Do you think the type of non-cursing? And I don't want to just keep harping on cursing when it's the vernacular in general.
Yeah.
But standards and practices back in the 60s and 80s and 90s were a lot more stringent about what could be said on television, to the point where the only cursing we ever saw in Next Generation was when Picard would say shit in French.
French, yeah.
Right, but that was in French.
Or Worf and other Klingons would literally curse at each other in Klingon.
Right. And see,
and if you happen to,
that's an alien language, though. See, that's
yeah.
where it works.
So they got away with it.
Yeah.
And it's because, quite literally, I don't know if you guys have ever tried to learn Klingon, but I had the CD. Sorry.
It's hard. I tried. It's very difficult.
But I had the CD from the 90s where they, were teaching you basic sentence structure. But one of the first lessons they taught you was how to curse in Klingon. And the funniest part was the guy that invented Klingon was not telling you what you were saying. He was just saying, oh, you might say this in this situation. You might say this in this situation.
I remember that.
You might not want to because you're insulting this person's mother. But you got later on, we've learned, oh, you're basically saying, I'm going to go fuck your mom in Klingon.
Right. And yeah. But now also, if you think about it too, when the movies did come out, they did have a chance to add cursing, and except for what they did in 4, they really didn't do that. And I think it's because by then they had already established the way the characters speak. And so when you took them out of the situation and you put them in modern day Earth, and they have to adapt to that type of speaking, and that's funny. Like that was fun for me to watch. And then also the very rare times that there would be cursing, it was fine because it was rare. Like Data's shit when the Enterprise was about to be destroyed. I used to like that scene until
that was funny and uncharacteristic for him. That's why it worked.
I used to like that scene, and the only reason why I don't like it as much now is because people tend to use that as an excuse to add much more cursing to the modern day stuff, and it just, as I said, it pulls me out. When like Dave Bloss, Dave Bloss kind of gave me one of the things he was upset at me about was when Picard in season 3 drops the F-bomb, and I made tweets about like, this is not how Picard speaks, and then they were like, well, Data said this and Picard used to say merit and stuff like that, and I was like, well, no, you're taking the situation, but they never said, and I know it's because of standards and practices.
But I would also, you could argue there's also an in-universe reason for it. TOS,
right, that's what, yeah.
And I'm not going to give Strange New Worlds a pass on this because I think that they should be more aligned with TOS than other shows, by circumstance of when it takes place.
It's supposed to be a prequel, but it looks like a reboot.
So I would say that's kind of like the first golden age of Trek. And let's face it, when a civilization has a golden age, they tend to be more conservative in their languages. It's after the fact when they have conflict or post-conflict that they get looser with their vernacular. So it would make sense for TOS and TNG and early Deep Space Nine to be like that. Whereas post Deep Space Nine, because of the Dominion War, you get stuff like Picard season 3. You get stuff like, Picard in general. You get Lower Decks,
right,
where the vernacular changes over that time. Same thing with Discovery seasons 4 and 5, and this new Starfleet Academy. This is post burn. This is reconstruction. This is So in those contexts, it makes sense. As I said, I'm not going to give Strange New Worlds a pass on it, as much because it should be closer to TOS.
Yeah, there's a lot of other things that Strange New Worlds does that is not like the fact that the stuff that they're doing with Spock. He likes bacon in this one, and he's supposed to be a vegetarian. That type of stuff.
And Vulcans are supposed to eat not with their
But
hands.
But those are more smaller. Those are more smaller nitpicks about it. But yeah. Overall, I feel like the people who write these shows are writing for or from a lack of experience that I just kind of miss. I really miss. And the only show recently that's been able to accomplish that is the Orville. But then now that's done. So I've been starting to go back and watch other sci-fi because I used to just watch. It used to be just Star Trek for me, but now I've been watching Stargate, and that's a really good show. And
pardon, hold on, I'm gonna mute myself.
Yeah, it's fine. And we with April Sci-Fi Mombi, we've been watching Battlestar Galactica, and I've been enjoying that as well.
Which Battlestar Galactica? Remind me.
The new one.
The one where
Edward James Olmos. Edward James Olmos
yes.
is Adama.
Yes.
Katie sat up at Starbucks.
I all you had to do was say the reboot or the new one. I understand what you meant.
You forgot we're nerds, dude. We always explain shit.
Sorry, you're talking to somebody who actually enjoyed the original Battlestar Galactica to the point where I was reading the books that Richard Hatch wrote. Okay, and again, I'm also someone who's studied religious history, so seeing the original Battlestar Galactica as in the 90s and the 2000s, and be like, oh my god, I can't believe this thing, they let this on the air with all the references to one specific denomination of a religion. Because if you know anything about the original Battlestar Galactica, it's like heavily Mormon.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing in retrospect.
Yeah, but Mormon religion is based on outer space, so
yeah.
Well,
I've been really enjoying those
aspects.
I've been really enjoying those because like the rating is so much. As I said, like the rating from that. Someone was telling me that it's not just it's not just a Star Trek problem, but the something about the WGA at some point around 2016 or 17 just started letting anyone in.
To answer you, Gap, yes, I was born in '84. I didn't become a huge more of a sci-fi nerd until the early 90s. So yeah, I did not watch Battlestar Galactica until I started seeing mini marathons that the Sci-Fi Channel was doing.
Well, I saw this on TV when I was in the 80s. I was born in '75.
Yeah, you were like 10 years older than me. I was born in '84, Elihu.
Yeah, when you say you see these shows on the Sci-Fi Channel, I'm like, really? That's probably when they're aired over the television.
So am I
live
the baby here?
Out loud.
Yeah.
I was born in '83, so am I the baby?
Yeah.
No, I'm the baby.
The old one.
I'm
me
84.
and PC, the old guys. Okay, we're old.
Yeah, I remember seeing everything live. Lost in Space.
Yeah, Knight Rider. Come on, all this shit was live on TV.
Okay, Knight Rider I did watch because my dad loved to make fun of the Trans Am because he hated the Trans Am.
It should have been called Kit Rider. Nobody rode Michael Knight, except various women, but still.
I thought that was a really good car. I got to see that car in Universal Studios.
Yeah,
well, the reason was, I guess, because my dad was a car guy, and he was like, they would never make it out of a Trans Am because that thing didn't have enough power to do jack shit.
I hyped up the engine, okay? She hyped up the engine, that's why.
I know. But yeah, of course, I liked a show where the main character's name was Michael. Come on.
Yeah. I said that. I'm sure some people wrote Michael. Okay, back to Star Trek.
Yeah. So any other things you want to talk about episode 3?
Not really. Just basically high school jinx, pranks here.
Okay,
What they
no,
did.
there was one other thing I was going to bring up, and that was the freaking little game they were playing. Okay, can someone? They did something, and you have to admit this, Jack. They did something very Star Trek. They introduce a
Okay.
fucking game and don't explain the rules.
Okay.
I still don't understand the rules for Prometheus Square. Okay.
Yeah, we don't know how 3D squares is played. We don't know how 3D chess is played. We don't know how
Actually, you do. Actually,
Dumb
there was a
Shot is
manual for
played. We don't know
there was
how
a manual for 3D chess, dude. It came out like
there's
in
never
the 90s.
all
I
those.
think you're talking about on screen.
Yeah, on
Oh,
screen they
okay.
don't explain jack shit.
Oh, sorry. I'm like, I know how to play
And that
3D
is-
chess.
That is a very annoying thing that Star Trek keeps doing to me. So you have to admit, Jack, that is very on brand for Star Trek, introducing a game and not explaining the fucking rules.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, Domjot. Do you know how to play Domjot? I think
Nope.
it's like billiards.
I don't know how Dabo works. I don't know how what was the game that the Ferengi game that Dax used to play with them?
Oh God, what was that one?
The card game?
Tonga.
Oh shit.
Tonga.
Yeah. Thank you.
Tonga, yeah.
And I'm like, God, what? It's like Sabak in Star Wars. Why can't you just tell us what the fucking rules are instead of saying like, oh, you won a hand, but we have no idea what you actually did.
There is a game that they did introduce that everybody knows how to play. It's called poker.
Okay,
So, yeah, that's the only one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
But
one
then
they introduced. That was one that already existed. Hell, even at the friggin' the Casino Royale episode, what was it called?
Casino Royale.
Was it Casino? No, it wasn't. But you know where Data does craps.
Yeah,
It's like,
with the dice.
at least I know what's going on because I know how to play craps.
Mhm.
But okay.
Yeah.
As for the mascots, I think the Magato mascot, I think everyone got that episode or that reference. I did not fucking get the Starfleet Academy's mascot reference until I read it on Memory Alpha.
The little gecko type guy.
No, the little bird.
Oh.
And I'm like, what the fuck? I had to look it up because I was confused as all hell. I'm like, why am I not getting this? Is this something new? No, it was briefly mentioned in the episode where what's his name captures Data for the most toys. You know.
Oh yeah.
That episode. And I'm like, that's what you decided to
collector.
pull from?
Yeah, the collector.
I feel like they'll watch random clips on YouTube and be like, oh, let's use that. Without really getting it.
I would have so preferred if the mascot was a humpback whale.
Well, they already had dolphins and crustaceans observation on lower decks.
Yeah, but I'm saying as the mascot. I'm not talking about his crew members. Or
No.
wait, maybe that would be impolite to have a mascot that's actually a crew member. Then again, if you read Star Trek New Frontier, there was a Mugatu who was a member of the crew. So I don't know.
You know what I wonder whatever happened. I wonder whatever happened to the Zindi. The fourth, I think there was like 4 species that they had a planet. The planet blew up, and then they blamed it on Earth, and they were going to blow up Earth, and then that's when I believe season 4 of Enterprise begins.
Actually, I think it was season 3. I think that was a season 3 arc.
They never mentioned what happened to Florida because the Zindi cut a line through Florida, but they never mentioned that or showed that again. Yeah, what I did not like about the episode of Enterprise when Tucker was looking there, it was dry. I'm like, wait a minute, it comes to the ocean. It should be filled with water. What the fuck?
It should have been. Yes, I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I didn't like that scene though.
But
they never showed Florida again. They only showed when they showed the United States from the space. It's cloudy.
And you will never see Florida again.
No, it's always cloudy.
Jack,
I've looked.
Yes.
Jack, did you ever read any of these Star Trek books?
I did long ago. It's been so long. I don't really remember much of it.
My bad was Zodi.
Zodi, I remember reading, but that was
I basically read every Star Trek book that takes place after Next Generation.
Mm.
So all the post TNG, all the post Deep Space Nine, all the post Voyager, and what you say, what happened to the Xindi? What's interesting is in the books, at least, they would talk about, this character happens to be a Xindi, and they'll talk about the backstory, and they'll say how they became members of the Federation later on. Like each race, one by one.
I think
And they're now allies, and they used it as an example of enemies turned allies.
I think Daniels showed that they went to like the 32nd century or something like that, and they showed the Enterprise J.
Yeah,
that he said that Xindi were aboard. Yeah, he said that Xindi and humans were aboard working together.
So they don't really. They didn't mention him in Picard. They didn't mention him in Lower Decks. They didn't mention him in Disco or this new show. So yeah, that is one thing that's kind of weird.
Yeah, because there were 4 species, and there were
the aquatics, the insectoids, the reptilians, and the primates.
Yeah,
and arboreals and the avians, but the avians were wiped out.
Sorry.
Yes,
that's right.
Yeah.
Because I had to get the genetics farm from that cave. Yeah, I remember that episode.
So there were 6 races total.
I mean, we noted so they were saying in the Jaden episode they were saying that Kronos was destroyed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in episode 4. We're talking about 4 now, right?
Yeah, we can go to 4.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, because you're talking about 4.
Okay. Oh, good. Then I'm on topic.
Now here's a conspiracy theory I have about that. Do you think that the bomb that was placed in what was it, Strange New Worlds or Discovery? I can't remember which one.
Discovery.
Thank you. Do you think that bomb is what caused Kronos to actually explode finally?
That is possible.
Because that when they first said that, that's what popped in my head. Like, oh, the burn caused that bomb to finally go off.
Right. I mean, I remember in the 6th movie was Praxis had exploded. It was one of their moons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And they had 50 years left of life on Kronos.
Right, but they somehow fixed that. I don't remember how they fixed that in the movie.
It was implied during TNG that basically because of the trade relationship between the Federation and Klingons, they provided them aid to actually clean their environment so they could live on the planet still.
Okay. So,
and one of the things, this has nothing to do with the actual shows, but one of the things I always liked was if you played Star Trek the card game.
Okay.
They did the planet Kronos when they showed it on the card. The creators of the card game inserted a remnant of Praxis still orbiting the planet.
Nice.
Just as for shits and giggles for us fans, and I wish they'd shown that in the show at some point, but they never did.
Right. That's actually kind of cool. That would be accurate too, I believe. Pieces of it would still orbit. Yeah. But yeah, so they destroyed Kronos in this one, and it possibly has to do with like a combination of the burn and that bomb. So there's only a few families left, a few houses, Klingon houses left, and they're all stuck on a ship or something like that.
I think they're like a migrant fleet. Think the Quarians from Mass Effect.
Okay.
And they just land on a planet, hunt for a while, gather some resources. But it also makes sense that they would become so insular with something like that happening. It's not like every time there's going to be a huge disaster for the Klingon people, there's going to be another Gorkin.
Right. It just the only other thing about that was, they had a whole empire. So I'm not exactly sure Like I feel like if your home planet was destroyed, well, you have an empire of other planets that you can go to. So
No, the Empire was based on Kronos itself. They just only had territories and areas. It was not the actual houses right in this planet.
No, we know
The
they had other
houses was
planets.
on Kronos. Yeah, there was
Hold on.
Klingon territory, not owned by the houses, but owned by the
No,
Klingon
hold on.
Empire.
But we know that there were other Klingon worlds because Borath was one of them.
Like I said, it was not owned or regulated by houses, but by the Klingon Empire itself.
What I
houses are
would
set on
imagine
Kronos.
happening, what I would imagine happening
weren't
with,
they run
with the
by the
home world
houses?
being destroyed.
Yeah, they were given authority for a house to run it, but it was run actually by the Klingon Empire. They were not
Well, hold
housed
on.
on separate planets. It was delegation of order.
I don't know how much of that is actually shown in the show other than Enterprise. But what I would say is, based on what we know about Klingon history, and we can point to the Duras conflict as well as Undiscovered Country, when a disaster strikes the Klingon people, they tend to fracture. They could have had a lot of infighting, and I could also imagine there's the planets they had conquered previously rebelled. Because that just makes sense.
So like a Byzantium thing, like a Roman Empire falling and Byzantium kind of taking over, and all the other kingdoms that used to be the Roman Empire. Yeah,
all those
they're
Franco
ruling
kingdoms.
themselves now. Okay.
I could see that happening. Hopefully they'll explain it in the future. I don't necessarily need an explanation yet. I just hope that the explanation is at least somewhat plausible.
Right. Believability. That was another thing that Gene Roddenberry always pushed in his outlines.
Well, I don't know about that because I still don't understand the believability of putting the fucking bridge on top.
I guess that's aesthetics. That was so they could have that cool shot where they go into the top of the bridge and go through the window.
It irks me so much to see it so often, especially during wartime scenarios.
Well, I think that's why they had the battle bridge on the Enterprise D.
But even that was on the top of with a remnant of the saucer section, which pissed me off too.
Dude, don't you remember the cage? They zoomed in from the top of the saucer section into the bridge. Come on.
I know, but I'm just saying.
What I mentioned. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at the MSD for the Enterprise D, and you look where the battle bridge is located, as soon as the saucer section removes, it's back on the top of the ship.
Hang on a second.
Okay, never mind. I wasn't sure where that bridge was.
The only ship that I've ever seen in all of Star Trek beta canon where the bridge appears to be, within the ship was the I think it was the Atlas class, the carrier from Star Trek Invasion. I don't know if any of you guys played that game.
Mm.
That was basically it was a Star Trek fighter game, and I loved it, even though it destroys canon. When you have a single fighter that's able to take out a Romulan warbird.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't played that game, but what was the one that I did play?
Sorry, there was going an update. There was a breaking news on Middle East. Sorry, I had to hear this. Well, sorry, I'm back.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm looking up the ship.
What were you talking about? I was listening to the news. Sorry.
Star Trek Invasion, the game.
I haven't played that.
Okay, USS Typhon is the name of the ship. What class of ship was it?
Prometheus?
Apparently, no. It's just I guess it's just Typhon class because it says it's in an NX number, so it's the prototype. But the thing looks like a giant flying brick, which to me I liked because it was something different to see in Star Trek. But yeah, you if you've ever played the game, it's like, have you ever played Wing Commander? Anyone here play Wing Commander?
Yes, I loved Wing Commander on my Commodore.
Okay, yeah, this was Star Trek Wing Commander.
Mm.
And I do think the Valkyrie fighters were they in anything else?
Hmm.
I don't know. You check that out. I gotta just load it again. Be right back.
Okay. Yeah, the only so like I played Star Trek Judgment Rights long ago. That was for DOS. And I did play the Starfleet Academy game as well.
Which one? The original?
The one from '97.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one with I mean they got Kirk and Sulu in there, and they do these they have these scenes where they tell you what your challenge is, and then you play the challenge on the game, and then they come back and they compliment you.
No, it does not look like the Valkyrie fighters were ever in any other media. That's a shame. I could have swore they were based. I know they were based on the Starfleet fighters from the Dominion War, but
Okay.
Let's go back to episode 4.
Yes.
So that it's focusing on the Klingon character. And to me, he still seems to abide by a lot of the Klingon philosophy, even if he chooses to put it towards other avenues, if that makes sense.
Sure. Like bird watching.
Yeah. I mean, I know people that do bird watching and they literally compare it to hunting. And I say I know people as in I see people talking about it online.
I'm like that too. I do a lot of lurking, and I just listen to what people do talk about.
But
yeah, so like I think if they showed him doing some sort of bird watch and showing that it's like a hunt, I think that would have done a lot more service to that than just saying, I like watching birds, and then getting bullied by the one of those guys about his binoculars or whatever.
Who cares if he likes watching birds?
But it also makes sense because he wants to portray himself as, a Klingon. Admitting that he likes to watch birds is very not Klingon, even if it is done in a Klingon way. So I can understand why he'd want to hide that.
Yeah, he didn't do a good job hiding it. He just literally said, I like birds. I like watching birds, and that's why I have that. But yeah, I mean, that's not an issue. I think, as I said, if they show him doing the bird watching and showing it more like a hunt, like you say, I think that would do a lot more service to the character, because right now I feel like he's I don't think he's underdeveloped, but there's something about his development that needs more refining.
Well, again, it's only been
it's only been a few episodes.
Only the 4th episode.
They have 20 episodes, so
they actually have 20 episodes.
So for season 1 is 10 episodes, and season 2 is 10 episodes.
Okay, but how many have they released so far? I think it's only been like
only
7, 8
so far.
9. Okay,
so I'm just saying. In total, they have a total of 20 episodes to develop all these characters. They really don't have time to mess around with that.
And of course, they're not going to go and develop every character on the show, even though I think some of them would be interesting to learn more about. Like
Astrid.
like the Astrid character, like the I can't remember the name of the race, but the half black, half white ones.
Those
The
guys are supposed to be extinct.
Charons. No, that's been 1,000 years. Yeah, I know. It's been 1,000 years. They should have been extinct already because the last two were fighting. I don't know if they had colonies anywhere else, but they only established those for the last two in the endless war, timeless war.
If they go back and explain it, then yeah, I'll seeing the person is fine. It's an added little bit of difference. It's weird to see a character at all that's that bilaterally asymmetrical. But so from a biological standpoint, they don't make any sense.
Sure.
But that was true back in TOS, let alone this. So I hope she doesn't remain a full-on background character. Let's have some reasoning behind it. And like you said, it could be just one single line of, they thought they were the last two, but we actually had a colony. That's all they need to do.
That would make sense, and I don't know. We'll see if they do that, but I do feel like because they don't have a. I mean, like I don't think it's going to be renewed just because the viewership isn't there.
Season 2 is filmed as wrap filming.
Yeah, season 2 is wrap filming. I know they're going to be putting that out.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They're going to be putting that out next year. But
sorry, I try to avoid spoilers. Sorry for interrupting you again. So I don't know anything about the background. I'd like to watch each episode as I'm watching it, being completely surprised.
No, that's fine. But yeah, they have 20 episodes to tell their story. As I said, I don't know. I don't think there's going to be a third season, especially now that Paramount is restructuring, and we right now Secret Hideout's future is uncertain. So
I just wish they would have took that Temu bid. They bid $39. Or Tubi bid $39 for it. I wish they would have took that bid, man. You guys
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, when the Paramount and the Warner Brothers thing was going on, Tubi made their official announcement. They offered $39.
Oh.
Yeah, that was Tubi's official announcement of their price. We'll buy it for $39. Yep.
Jack, to jump to the end, how did you like how they solved the issue about finding the world similar to Kronos?
They found a world. They said that this Federation was willing to just give it to them. And from what I remember hearing, they said they didn't want it because they didn't want it to be gifted. They thought that there was something dishonorable about having it gifted to them. So I'd have to watch that part, but they do a mock battle in order for the planet. Is that what mock battle?
Yes.
I don't know if that's any better than just gifting it to the Klingons.
Actually, it was because it goes with Klingon tradition and honor. They're defending their fellow Klingon when they got attacked. So we want this, but you don't want it. We'll take it. You're in our way. They attacked that Klingon ship. They're defending themselves.
But it's also theatrical, and they all know it.
No, the thing was the Klingons did not realize it was theatrical.
No,
all they saw was a Federation that was taking this planet and said, "No, you're in our area. You leave right now. We're attacking this Klingon ship." That's all they saw. That.
No, I think you're wrong. Jack is right. It was 100% theatrical, but I think that's all it needed to be. Because remember, the Klingons are a theatrical race. They like their opera. They like their singing. They like their storytelling. And they embellish those stories. Think of it, they would sing the songs of taking a world from the Federation. Regardless of how, and they could even say, oh, no one died, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, no one did die in that battle.
No, yeah.
And I think that was part of the point. It's not that they needed the handout. They needed the handout to be given in such a way where they could accept.
Okay, I see your point there. I see your point.
Because remember, the guy they were talking to was a Gorkin-esque Klingon.
Yeah, they couldn't be given. They have to take it by honor and battle. Yeah, okay, I get it. Yeah, we'll fight you for it. No problem. Yeah, we're gonna fight. You gotcha.
And if I remember, it was actually Jaden who suggested the mock battle.
Yes, Jaden. Yeah, he was the one that suggested it. He's like, we're not Klingons have honor and will not be given something out of charity, something like that.
Right. Okay.
And remember, mock battles are even a part of Klingon weddings.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the beating hearts.
So I really doubt, you're supposed to try to literally kill the bride and groom right after they get married. It's supposed to be a mock battle, reminiscent of what happened to Kalis and his wife.
Right. Yeah. So I remember when me and Alicia got married, we did that whole Klingon heart thing with that poem.
Yeah, I remember.
I wonder if I can convince Mrs. Vile to do that if we ever get married.
Yeah.
Red velvet cake.
There we go, red velvet cake. Just don't make it a red wedding.
Yeah, please don't.
And when they go, one of the things I do like about the Jaden character being more of a scientific person was primarily because one of my favorite characters from Deep Space Nine when it came to Klingons was the cook. If you remember who I'm talking about.
On DS9, the chef, Klingon chef? Yeah.
You would never say he was not a Klingon, even though all he did was cook. He never talks about dying honorably in battle. But he likes, when someone actually confronts him on his cuisine. Walking around playing an accordion, singing songs badly. I mean, come on. How do you not love that in an episode?
Yeah, all Klingons are badass warriors. Bullshit.
Well, this guy, this Klingon who's 100 pounds overweight.
They had one in Enterprise too. They had a lawyer.
Yeah, they had a lawyer.
Worf played his grandfather as a lawyer in Star Trek V.
And then also the Klingon who helped Dr. Phlox with the Klingon augment virus.
Yes.
He was a scientist.
Yeah. He was a scientist. So yeah, they're not all warriors, but they do have that warrior ethos.
Yeah, they have the warrior ethos, but they're not necessarily warriors. The battlefield could be different for each Klingon. Diplomacy could be their weapon, and if they're diplomats, like Kemtar or Gorkin. Death could be their enemy if they're doctors or scientists or something like that. And it makes sense how they would have that warrior ethos like Jaden does and still be a pacifist. Hell, fucking Worf became one, and he was still a badass.
Worf's worst enemy was the blue barrels. He got knocked down all the time, man.
He said he was a pacifist, but then the first time you see him in Picard, he literally chops heads off. That's I don't know about that.
Well, you could be a pacifist and still cut heads off, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
You could be a pragmatic pacifist, okay?
I did not like that they had to deepen Jaden's voice.
To compare it, well, hold on. I would compare it to, Jack, have you watched Babylon 5 yet?
No, I have not.
What's wrong with you?
Okay, I'm gonna minor spoiler for a single episode.
That's fine.
There's a group of aliens who happens to have a warrior ethos sect involved, and one of the things was they're all armed with swords, and if they ever unsheath their sword, it has to draw blood before they can resheath it.
Okay.
And that's a point of honor for this character for this episode. He's only in that one episode. And when he pulls his sword out, the person he's trying to talked to is like, oh, well, you can't put that away without drawing blood. Well, he ends up putting the sword in his hand, slicing his own hand so it draws blood so he can put it back.
Right. Yeah, that's a very Klingon thing. Yeah.
Yes, that particular character was very Klingon-esque. And I could see that, like, he was, yes, he's a warrior, but he's also being pragmatic. Yes, his sword has to draw blood by, his little honor code, but it doesn't say whose blood it has to be.
Right.
So I could see, yes, I'm a pacifist, but if I have to chop off a few heads, I'm going to do that.
I guess so. But by the way, my buddy Philip was a Vulcan in that show. Yeah, I got this. I went to his house. He showed me his ears.
Philip O'Reilly,
ears?
Yeah, they let ears? His ears. No, he
nice.
still has it. No, he showed me his ears. Is what I said.
But you're talking about Philip O'Reilly, right?
Yes. I've known that guy since. I've known him since second grade.
Okay. Well, I've met him and we've hung out in person.
Right. Okay. Yeah, he's a cool guy. He's cool people.
I don't know if I still have
since second grade. I've only known him for a couple of years.
Yeah,
because he lives south of, or at least at the time he lived south of us.
So I think he lives in Chula Vista right now.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Let me see if I got this right. I know Philip. Then I met you, but you know Philip before we met. That's kind of weird.
And I met Philip before I met you, and you knew Philip before you met me.
Yeah, that's kind of weird, man. That's weird.
It's a small world. Yeah,
I haven't heard from him in a while though, but I reference him on occasion because I had somebody ask me about getting into acting, doing bit parts.
BGA background.
Yeah.
So
I'll send you a website, man.
That whole thing started with Anchorman 2, actually. So yeah, me and Philip are in the audience in Anchorman 2. You could see Philip very clearly. You can't see me very well. But yeah, it's ever since then he started showing up for these things, and it's cool because every so often I'll be watching something like Captain Marvel or something like that, and he walks right by her in the bus station or the airport or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, holy shit, hey, there he is.
You know what? So you're still in contact with him, right?
Sure.
Maybe I should have him record one of those things for me. For shits and giggles. I know Rhonda said she'll do one. Oh, sorry. I gave her real name. I'm not going to say who she is now. But a certain friend of mine who also has been in things. She said she'd do one for me. But because her current job has her traveling a lot, she's not in San Diego all the time.
Right.
If Philip does one for you, you should have some cutouts and stand behind the cutout as a background actor and do this shout out from that way.
But yeah. So, I mean, he's cool. He's cool people. Yeah. So Star Trek.
Yeah, that's this channel in a nutshell, Jack. We start talking about something, then we get off on a tangent.
That's fine. You don't have to be stoned to do that. You don't have to be stoned to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other major issues? Because I thought this episode was fairly good. Other than maybe it's because it's something I can't relate to, but it's the speaking in public bit I didn't understand.
That was weird. He gets anxiety from that apparently.
And what's funny is my kids are the same way, but I don't have that experience because I don't have issues with speaking in public.
Right. I'm a drama student, so I mean,
same here.
I don't have a problem with that either.
Yeah, me too.
Not that I have an issue with it being, a part of a character. It's just something I can't personally relate to.
Right.
Yeah, I give him speeches in public.
It also feels weird for it just feels weird for a Klingon to have that issue.
Although,
Well,
I think
maybe the whole thing is because he's struggling to be himself. He's like he's Klingon, and everybody expects the typical Klingon warrior attitude, but he's not a warrior attitude. If you guys notice that, everybody always expects that from him.
no,
but
he's
not
right.
that.
Go back and watch those episodes, Elihu. He very much has that attitude. I mean, it's one of the reasons he came to that other student's defense in the first episode.
Right.
Yeah, because people expected of him as a Klingon to act that way. He's trying to fit in to a new environment.
I think it's still part of his personality. It's the fact that he's going up in front. Oh, we lost Positive Candor. Sorry, man. I think it's more of he doesn't have the weapon for that particular fight, if it makes sense.
His background is his fault. So I did see something where his father had left him or something, like his father was trying to teach him to hunt or something like that. And then he got mad at him and then left him or something like that. I didn't, as I said, is that what happened?
Sorry,
No.
say that again. I was reading something.
So
Jaden's
Jaden's father.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so Jaden's father. I think there's a scene where he's either trying to teach him how to hunt or trying to teach him how to like shoot a bird or something like that, and he didn't want to shoot the bird, and he got mad at him or something like that, and he took off on this spaceship and just left him on the planet.
Yeah, and turns out that his father missed on purpose as his honor and respect for his son. Yeah, I love that. That was great.
Again, and I think that's related to the end of the episode. It was he had to present to his son in a Klingon way why he would abandon him. Because just abandoning your son is probably very dishonorable in Klingon culture. I don't know if that's true or not. I'm just going based on what we've seen previously.
All Jaden's perspective was his father missed a shot and ran away and abandoned him. But he didn't realize that his father was honoring his decisions. Like, okay, you're not a hunter? Boom. I respect you. I honor that decision as a father and a Klingon. He didn't realize that at the time.
Okay, so that's just a little bit of his background, I think, right? So
yeah,
it's inferred background from what we know about Klingons. That's all I can say.
Okay.
The Klingon ship design, some of them made sense, some of them don't. And I think that's only because, post burn, they're probably using whatever ships they can get their hands on.
Yep.
I'm just glad we didn't see a fucking D7 or Katinga.
Well, I mean, after almost 1,000 years, you'd hope that they'd evolve their ships.
Oh, I will say this. It's something I didn't know because I'm just, I got the episode pulled up on Memory Alpha right now. 3 of the ships from that battle scene are actually from Star Trek Online.
Okay, I know that they've been using a lot of ships from Star Trek Online in the newer shows.
Yeah, apparently the Mekla, the Kechpu, and the Ketha class are from Star Trek Online.
Gesundheit.
I could not point to you and tell you what those ships are, despite the fact that I've played Star Trek Online. Hell, even Katty has a character.
I got 3 characters on Star Trek Online.
I'm surprised level 70 already. I'm surprised that game is still going. I remember when they first started it. I remember being interested in playing it and just never got the chance to play it. And then before you know it, when I did want to play it, they inserted all the new Trek stuff, and I just lost interest.
Well, if you ever run across Captain Kick-Ass Butt, that's me with one T.
Well, I had several characters. I've talked about it in the past. My primary ship was a Prometheus class, which was an utter glass cannon. I had maxed out every single attack stat to the point where if I didn't destroy you in one hit, I would be wiped out if I didn't run away fast enough. And the funny part for me was the name of my ship was the Epimetheus, which is Prometheus's brother.
Okay.
I haven't played in a couple months. I haven't even turned on PlayStation in a couple months.
Yeah, I haven't played in years. But the reason I stopped playing was because my computer got stolen. Remember?
Mm-hmm.
And I just never downloaded it to the new computer. Maybe I should do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like the fact that they're pulling designs from Star Trek Online more, because it kind of makes it. I know it's another universe of Star Trek, but it makes it more real, if that makes sense. I don't know about if you ever played the Star Trek Online that much, Elihu, but I never liked using just the Star Trek Online designs. I always used ships that at least appeared in the show.
Well, if it's a good ship, it's a good ship. I wouldn't even care about the design, as long as it was functional and had good shields and weapons.
Well, there's
and
a couple
and a great auxiliary battery. At least it has a great auxiliary battery. You need that.
I mean, yeah, I did like the Odyssey because that one seemed to fit the lineage after the Sovereign. And the Pioneer class, I thought the Pioneer class was beautiful when I first saw it. I'm like, God, I wish this was in the show. And then they brought it into the show, so I'm happy.
Well, you were happy to see Rocktall's character species in episode 1.
Who?
Rocktall? Rock? From Prodigy?
Oh, the Brickar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her name was Rocktar, right?
Yeah, yes. Hold on one second.
Okay.
I'm mute.
I'm like, am I getting her name wrong?
Yeah, I remember seeing like the trailer for Prodigy, and it just felt. I mean, it just felt like a kid's show. So I never really.
It's very much a kid's show, but
right.
The way they treat continuity and lore, I appreciate as a Star Trek fan.
Okay.
Especially with the Janeway hologram, and they bringing back Chakotay. I don't know why I couldn't say his name. Even though, I can hate his actor as much as I want, but seeing his character in the show again was cool. But when it came to the Brickar, that species was actually introduced in Star Trek New Frontier, the Peter David books. And I appreciated, bringing that race in because, again, I like the Star Trek New Frontier series.
I haven't read those.
Yeah, I haven't read those either.
Sorry, yeah, motorcycle. I'm trying to mute myself.
I'm getting more coffee.
So one of the things I remember is the last episode of Voyager. They try to rush in this relationship between Seven of Nine and Chakotay, and then when you see Seven of Nine, and when you see Seven of Nine next, like there's no mention of Chakotay, and then and suddenly she's a lesbian. So it's like I always wondered what happened with Chakotay. Do they explain what happened to Chakotay in Prodigy?
Not since he pissed off the producers and the writers. Nope. They didn't want to mention him ever again until Prodigy. He kind of apologized. That's why he got introduced back into Prodigy. But during that stint, nobody in the production of Star Trek was getting along with Robert Beltran.
Okay, basically, if you want to know the backstory, Chakotay was originally put in charge of the ship Prodigy.
Okay.
Before it got before it crashed in the first episode. So you actually find him later on, like he's been living, Robinson Crusoe style, on another planet for a while.
You spelled high wrong. It's H-I-G-H. Finish your typing, dude. Or you have stones.
Aaron, how you doing? God dang it. Hold on.
That's what you get for broadcasting in Mexico.
but yeah, that's I like Chakotay's character. I did think that they rushed that relationship with Seven at the very end. I wasn't really into that.
Yeah, it was a look here, then all of a sudden they had a picnic date. I'm like, what?
Right. And I know they have like background together because like Chakotay was the one who freed her from the Borg.
Mhm.
But I mean, but they never build it up. They never built it up until that last episode.
No, it to me that was the trope pair the spares, where they will rush that kind of stuff, especially at the end of a series.
Right. Like if they were meant to eventually be together and suddenly like the show's about to end, okay, well let's put them together.
And when you were saying like, oh, she was dating him and then she becomes a lesbian, to me that's very on brand for certain people. Considering quite literally, I have a kid who broke up with her boyfriend, started dating a girl, broke up with a girlfriend, started dating a boy, broke up with him, is now dating a girl again.
Oh, that's my kid.
Yeah,
that's my kid right now.
Yeah, and I'll fully admit I've dated girls that went from dating a girl before me and then dating a girl after me. Right. So that much doesn't really bug me, because I'm not saying she's not necessarily gay. She could just be, herself, bi or something.
Yeah. I know mine says that she's gay, but she's dated guys before. So in my opinion, I think she's more bi, but yeah.
Or then I got one kid who dated a girl who was transitioning into a boy, and then also dating another boy at the same time. So she just says she's pan.
That's fair. That's fair. But yeah, I mean, like the one thing, like going back to I guess Seven, they do the same thing in Picard where they're without any buildup, they pair her with Rafi. And then for the whole second season, they kind of Bonnie and Clyde them together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the third season. I only watched certain clips.
See, what's funny is I liked Picard season 1 except for that last episode. I hated that last episode.
Oh yeah, that was terrible. What they do to Picard, where he dies. They explained that he was going to have a death scene. I was thinking that they were going to wait till the third season to kill him off, and then that would have been the end of the show. But they kill him off at the end of the first season, and then they put his Katra or whatever into an android, and the android is programmed to be just as old and to die. It's just
ironically, I didn't have a problem with that. My problem was the fucking machine race. To me, that screamed every sci-fi trope of the last few, like Mass Effect. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, I didn't like the
fact that Picard was in a battle, saw somebody get killed, and just went home and didn't report it. Like, what the fuck? That threw me off. I'm like, what the hell?
They kill him. They kill his character, right? His character dies, and then there's like 10 minutes of them mourning him before they just put his body into an android body. And it's like, what was the point of that mourning where you got Seven, and I think it was Seven and another character like drinking, and mourning Picard's loss, only to bring him back like 10 minutes later. I don't know. I didn't like that. And then also like they changed other than getting rid of his brain problem. They changed nothing else about him. I would have at least like given him a larger,
At least for Beverly's sake, right?
Yeah, come on, please.
For Beverly's sake, yeah. And I remember in that first season, I was always like, "Where's Beverly? Where's Beverly?" They had some random doctor come and tell him that he was going to die instead of Beverly. But see, then you find out that by season 3, you find out that they did date. She had a child with him and never told him. I don't believe that one bit. I don't believe Beverly would have kept that from him all that time.
It would depend on when he was conceived, I would have to say.
Yeah, Jack's age is he's in his 23, 24, so that was way after the last episode of TNG, the last movie of TNG time. So,
well, I would say if it happened right when Romulus was destroyed,
yeah, that's about the time.
Then I could understand it because Picard leaves the Enterprise finally.
After,
yeah, and she's like, I'm not gonna. She basically pulled a Carol Marcus on him.
Yeah. I just feel like that's just completely out of character for her.
Wesley came back. Couldn't he have said something? He's got a brother.
What? Yeah, Wesley. I mean, you see him in I think season 2 of Picard, but then you also see him in the beginning of Nemesis. He showed up for Riker's wedding and Troy's wedding.
Well, actually, they cut his scene out. If you watch the actual movie, he's not there.
Really? Okay. Did they put it back in?
Yeah,
Did they?
they have a second clip of him, 1 second of him at the table sitting next to his mother.
Okay.
With the long table. He's there for about a second on screen. And that's the only time you see him.
Right. But he's there. That's what I was okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they rewrote the canon because he's with the Traveler. He's not in the movie. That's why.
Right. He's with the Traveler. He's supposed to be a Traveler himself now. What did he say when he spoke to that lady in season 2? Something like he had like destroyed a universe by accident or something like that, or he messed up a timeline.
I accidentally destroyed a universe once.
All right, so I looked it up according to this is on Reddit, so take it with a grain of salt.
Okay.
The only scene that he's in Nemesis, he's in for a fraction of a second as a background character. All his other scenes were cut.
Okay.
So you could argue he was there, and you could argue that he wasn't there, because if you can't really tell that it's Wesley, what does it matter?
He's Schrodinger's kid, so
he's Schrodinger's kid.
It depends on how much you take stock in what's canon or what's not canon for deleted scenes.
Right.
What got me is that season 2, there was an admiral we saw was a new character, but she was played by the same person that played Transporter Chief Maggie Hubble in TNG.
Oh, that's true. I mean, they've done that before. Like I know.
They recycle characters.
Nigel Barrett played a few characters, in stuff like that. She played Nurse Chapel. She was Deanna Troy's mother. She was the computer.
Look at Jeffrey Combs. He played Wyoon. He played
Jeffrey Combs. There we go.
Yeah, come on.
Perfect example right there.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's all said. All I need to say.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, that's all I should say is Jeffrey Combs. That's your answer to your sponsor there. Okay? Enough. And he played 2 characters in the same episode one time on Enterprise.
We got David Warner, who plays the Federation ambassador in Star Trek V, and then he plays Gorkin in Star Trek VI.
That's right. I forgot about that. Shit.
There's also Tim Russ, who played a character in TNG before he became Tuvok in Voyager.
Yeah, he played one of the bandits during the Baryon Sweep episode.
And of course, you got Tony Mason.
And then, of course, they also retconned his
sorry.
character from Star Trek 6 by saying that even though in Star Trek 6 it was clearly a human because he doesn't have ears, the Vulcan ears, but they retconned that in Voyager, saying that yes, that actually was Tuvok, but for some reason we don't see his ears.
That's
But that's a retcon. That is a giant retcon.
right.
Oh, they really went back to a Voyager episode, upcoming episode, the last episode, the Sam one. They really went back on a Voyager episode on that one. Which I have to admit, I know I have to admit, the way Robert Picardo gave his speech, I almost cried. Like, holy shit, this guy is really a good fucking actor.
Yeah, he's an excellent actor.
Yeah, I almost cried in that scene.
I just wish that he'd be a little more humble on Twitter.
He is me.
Personally, I like him.
Why? Because I don't shit Star Trek. I don't shit Star Trek on my feed. That's why.
So Robert Picardo did a really cool cameo for me one time. I asked him to roast me, and he roasted the hell out of me. At one point, he's like, "Why don't you go jack off, Jack?" I was like, I gotta find that. I gotta find that.
Do that. Find that and give it to Chris. Okay.
It's such a good yeah.
Yeah, find that. Give it to Chris so we can play that when you get to introducing yourself.
That's definitely a good point.
I thought it was Enterprise. Thank you. Sorry, I thought
plays two characters in the same fucking episode.
Yeah, Wyun and another guy. Sorry, it was DS9, not Enterprise. Thank you. You played Wyun and somebody else. I forgot who else.
Brunt.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
He literally said it in the quote that I brought up on screen.
Oh, I didn't see the word Brunt. Sorry.
God, you're such a brunt sometimes.
At least I'm not Morn. I talk.
Okay.
Well, so Morn does talk. Never mind.
For the last few minutes, since we've been on Star Trek for the entire time, I do want to talk about Scream 7. Has anyone watched Scream 7 yet? Even though it only came out 2 days ago.
It just came out.
I only saw
Scream 5 and 6.
I only saw Scream 1.
So you haven't seen anything? Fuck, never mind then. Because
I only saw Scream 1, dude.
I've seen the first 4 Screams, and by the third one, I was losing interest. I mean, they even put Jay and Bob in that movie, and I could not.
Well, I've always liked the Scream series, and it's become okay because, the first Scream is not a parody, but is a commentary on the slasher genre.
That's why I liked it.
Yes,
the second one is a commentary on slasher sequels.
I didn't like that.
The third one is a commentary on trilogies in general.
That's where they started to lose traction, in my opinion.
Is Matthew Lillard in 7 because he's been all over social media lately?
Yes, Matthew Lillard is in 7. I will tell you that right now.
Okay, because I remember him in 1. I'm like, wait a minute, he's all over social media. Is he come out? Gonna be in Scream 7? I wasn't sure. I'm not interested in those movies anymore.
I'm not going to give any spoilers since you haven't seen it. Scream 4 was a commentary on the, at the time, reboot stuff. Because, you had Nightmare on Elm Street rebooted. You had Halloween rebooted. You had Friday the 13th rebooted. You had Hellraiser rebooted later on, but still. So I understood that. 5 and 6 are commentaries on the requel phenomenon that was started, where you're basically ignoring the reboots and going back to the originals. Which, again, works very well. This latest one, it doesn't seem to have that much of a theme to it. There's no commentary that I can see other than bleeding dry the franchise by making sure that the original characters are back.
Right. Money
I mean,
grab, basically, right?
I liked how Scream 6 did not have Sydney returning. I liked the fact that they finally killed off Dewey. I liked how, yeah, they still brought back a legacy character with Gail for the sixth one, and had her have a continue her arc. That was fine. They killed off David Arquette in the fifth one.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Okay.
Sorry for the spoiler, but it is like
I don't care. I don't care about the. I don't care about the Scream franchise. You know me. I'm not a horror genre fan.
But apparently, the reason they, one of the reasons they apparently changed this one so much is the two main characters for Screams 5 and 6. They commented on Twitter about the Palestine-Israel thing. I'm not going to go into politics on this stream. So they were like, yeah, because you guys are saying stuff about Palestine and Israel, we're not going to have you in the seventh movie now. And they completely rewrote it.
Oh, wow.
Then they paid Nev Campbell a boatload of money to return.
Okay.
The motivations for the killers were fine. You know, the motivations for the killers have always been kind of suspect. So you're not watching to see, you know, why they are killing. You watch them to kill. If that makes sense.
Like you watch a Halloween movie.
Like Final Destination. That's the kind of the fun of watching those movies.
I still avoid a semi truck full of logs, man.
God, that made me scared to drive behind those.
That's the fucking scariest part I've ever seen in a movie was the highway scene. Like, okay, I can understand the Freddy killer, I can understand the Jason thing, but the Final Destination highway scene, like, holy fucking shit, that scared the shit out of me in the theater.
Yeah, especially because I've been in that situation where I've driven behind one of those cars with those logs.
Yeah.
I've seen accidents on the highway too. Yeah, I'm like, holy shit, that's scary.
And every time I fall into that situation again, I clear as far away from that truck as possible.
So those are the kind of accident, kind of truckers that have 0 accidents per year. Gotcha. Cool. Maybe I should be a truck driver for a logging company. No accidents. Nobody avoids me.
Okay. When I was learning how to drive, like one of the things my dad did was one of our trips to Texas, he let me drive. And this was before Final Destination 2 came out. And if you know the area of Texas where Kuntz is, at one point they were heavily reliant on the logging industry. And I remember seeing people like weaving in between all the lines of logging trucks. It's into like 10 to 12 trucks at the same time, all loaded up with logs. And I'd see idiots like, you know, literally like cutting them off to get around them because they didn't want to be stopped by, you know, a line of logging trucks. So seeing that scene, I'm like, that literally could have been me. Because of some idiot cutting one of those guys off.
Idiot driver sounds like California driver. Yes, California drivers are really fucking idiots.
Yeah, dude, I've literally driven from one side of this country to the other, both in cars and on motorcycles. There are idiots on the road fucking everywhere.
I've seen more than in California and Southern California.
So, going back to Scream 7, is it good? Nah, no. But is it bad? No. It's very mid. It's a good way to kill a couple of hours. And, you know, the twist was okay. There was definitely certain aspects of it I enjoyed. So I'm not going to say it was a bad movie. If you're a fan of slashers, you'd probably enjoy it. But as a fan of the Scream movies, it's probably the second weakest after the third one, in my opinion.
Okay.
because you know Scream 3 is the one that had to get heavily rewritten when the script got leaked.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
So yeah, there's reasons why that one kind of sucked. But I don't know. I still, it was fine. Just go watch it if you're a fan of the genre and you're a fan of the series. I can't bring myself to hate it, or I can't bring myself to love it, if that makes sense.
Okay, so it's mid.
Yeah. I know this is shocking to you, Jack. I enjoy Starfleet Academy much more than I enjoyed Scream 7.
I have a hard time. I had a hard time like trying to watch. So last night when I tried to watch it, I had this idea of like, oh, you know, we'll watch it. I can make fun of it. It'll be fun. And as I was watching it, it wasn't fun to watch. Like it was a chore to watch. I can tell because it was, as I said, like I mean, I don't mind that type of writing and that type of vernacular, but not necessarily in Star Trek. And so it just feels like a mishmash of stuff. And I wanted to pause and complain to Alicia every like 5 minutes about something.
Well,
okay, then don't complain about episode 5 because we've already seen this shit in Enterprise.
Episode 5.
Okay. One of my most hated Star Trek films is Star Trek Insurrection. I hate the basic plot of that movie. To me, 1, it's very episodic. 2, they did the same exact fucking plot in Star Trek Generations.
Yes.
So the overall plot I can't stand. Every time they're talking about destroying the planet to, you know, gain everlasting life, blah 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 blah. It takes me out of the that movie. There are scenes in that movie I quite enjoy.
Sure.
But overall, I don't like that movie. It fights with Into Darkness as my most hated Star Trek film. Unfortunately, every time I see Into Darkness, it gets lower and lower in my opinion.
Into Darkness, you know, so I remember giving it a chance. Like I remember giving the JJ movies a chance because we had, you know, Enterprise had been canceled a few years before and they had given Star Trek a little bit of a break. And then they were going to reboot it. And I was like, okay, well, you know, good, because I've been wanting more Star Trek ever since they ended it. But then what came out was, you know, a version of Star Trek that was missing my favorite part of Star Trek, which is the philosophical aspects of it. And it was a lot more action packed, which was, I don't mind the action and everything, but I did miss the philosophical aspects of it. And I also couldn't believe that Captain Kirk would become a captain within like a year
Well, Jack,
but I give it a chance.
The only thing holding up the production right now, the JJ verse, is Quinto. He's asking for too much money. That's the only thing holding it up. Everybody wants to return. I remember asking Carl Urban, like, hey, I want to see you again as McCoy. He's like, so do I. He's looking forward to it.
Now, I think that's why Star Trek Beyond was so good, though.
By the
Jack,
second
you
one,
pointed out. So
I wasn't done.
Go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
By the time I got to the second one, I was going to give it a chance, and then JJ lies about Benedict Cumberbatch not being Khan, and when you watch the movie and he declares that he's Khan, I stopped the movie. I couldn't. I didn't like the fact that I got lied to by the director, and I hated that movie afterwards. The third one, I feel like, the third one I thought would have been fine if it was like a Star Trek episode and not necessarily a movie. And then after
it was fan fiction written by Simon Pegg. It's fan fiction. He wrote it.
Right? Yeah,
That's the
Simon
fan
Pegg
fiction
wrote
movie.
that. Yeah.
He
I will
admitted
say-
writing as fan fiction.
See, I think when you made your point about the JJ films lacking the philosophical aspects, Beyond Star Trek Beyond brought some of that back, especially with Kirk's existential crisis,
Right.
the history of the Federation screwing up, which I realize that's a main plot point of Starfleet Academy as well. But yeah, I like the fact that Starfleet makes mistakes, and sometimes they have to clean up those mistakes.
Sure. Yeah.
So I like that, and plus, when the way they incorporated the action scenes made sense in this film. The Into Darkness action scenes just were there for guns a-blazing, and it's not what we
Cinematic
normally
purposes.
see in Star Trek.
Yeah. And that's the thing that's been normalized now, where it's a lot more action, very little philosophical, anything, where it's, you don't get those morality plays anymore, where it's like, you hear both sides explain themselves, and both sides they have points, they have good points, and you in a normal episode of Star Trek, you'd have two characters who are disagreeing on something, and they're explaining why they believe it, and it's not and it's not like one of them is right and one of them is wrong. They're both right in their own way, and a lot of times those conversations, they get interrupted by some sort of outside thing, like a red alert or someone coming into the room or something. But I always enjoyed that, and they don't do that anymore. As I said, yeah, go ahead.
We were again going back to Insurrection. They have that philosophical debate, but what pisses me off about it is they had the same fucking debate in Generations.
Yeah, they didn't have. Yeah, unfortunately, like Generations has its own problems, and then it was compounded by Insurrection, in my opinion. I didn't like the idea of the Federation purposely trying to move that colony so that they can benefit from it. That felt like something maybe the Klingons would do, or the Cardassians, not necessarily the Federation.
And what's funny is if you read the books, if you read the books, they tried to play that off as being a Section 31 thing.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Hey Jack, let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Jack.
Yes.
Yes or no? Can you hum the theme song to TNG?
TNG, yes.
Can you hum the theme song to Enterprise?
Yes.
Okay, hum the theme song to Star Trek Academy.
I could not. I listened to it one.
Yeah, people are complaining about the. I wanted to mention that people are complaining about the theme song because it's hard to hum or sing. It's like da da or da da. People have a hard time with that. It's not catchy. Do you agree with that?
I do agree with that because, I know you put it towards Jack, but every other theme, including Lower Decks, I can hum.
Right.
I've seen 8 episodes and I can't even hum the Academy one. Like, to start with dun da or dun da da. Like, what the fuck?
I'm trying to remember.
Hell, even Discovery did it better.
I'm trying to remember the Discovery thing.
Like, that's that rapid.
Yeah. See, we can do this, but not Academy.
True.
All right, but on that note, I got to end the stream because I got to go get a new tire.
All right.
I got to go to the dispensary, and I'm almost out of weed. I got to go to the dispensary.
I got to go to the dispensary.
I will see you guys next week, and hopefully, I will post the reviews very quickly. Later, folks.
Later,
weirdos.